Hi and welcome to MicroStudio. This is the URL up here. This is what you're going to be coding in. It's a cute little coding program that helps you build games. When you log on, you'll see, or when you go to it, you'll see there's a create account here or log in. I've already logged in. So we're going to go to create. I'm going to create a new project. You can see this is all quite intuitive, not dissimilar to other software programs you might have used like Scratch. And basically you can see they're the same language like Sprite, so we're going to call this, they also had their own little sprite there which is called icon, and it used to be the cat in Scratch. But for your first assessment you have to create a sprite, so we're going to click on new sprite. The important thing here is to call it something that's meaningful. You have to name all your sprites or otherwise your code is going to get really complicated really fast, and you must call it things that you know. So you can see here it's got bad man. Notice that I started with a capital B and it just removed the capital B. So be careful about how you're naming things to make sure that it's picked up what you need. Over here you can choose different colours. You know, you can change the size of the pencil, all that sort of stuff. The other thing is that if you're building a person, the feet need to be at the bottom. If you're building a wall, it has to be at the top. Otherwise, when you code it, the wall and the person won't meet. So I'm going to just draw a very dodgy person. Very dodgy. All right, now, the other thing I like about this is you can do animation. So if I click on plus, you can see the shadow of mine in the background. So now I can redraw that. But now you can see down here, he's changing what he looks like. This is useful for things like walking and things like that. For your assignment, obviously I expect something a little better, and I obviously expect something that's going to relate to the final game that you want to create. So you need to start thinking about the sort of game you want to create. So now let's get that on the screen. So here we've got initiate, initiate, so that's when you actually run the game. What's going to happen first? How does it set it up? Update is where we put things like movement and actual things that we want to occur. And here is where we actually draw. So this is where we render. So what we do down here is we go screen, because we're drawing something on the screen. We do draw sprite. Notice there's a capital S there. And then we put our bad man in. You really need to spell it correctly or otherwise it will not work. But then we need to tell it where to put it on the screen. So you can see when I did that first 0, it's giving me the X coordinate and it's giving it to me in the middle. Then I'm going to do a 0, it's going to give it to me in the Y, and then it's going to do, we're going to do, well, how big is it? At the moment, it's going to be that big. So hopefully all of that's going to work. So now if I do over here and press run, we get my little guy in the middle. But you can see here, it's pretty small and pretty ugly. So let's go here and let's change that to 50. And now he gets even, 500, let's not do that. Let's make that 50. All right, but you can see here it's got the two animations that I did, so that's just really weird, right? So what we need to do is we need to go up here and we need to do screen.clear. And now you can see it gets the animation. What that means is that the screen is clearing each time, and then so you're getting that animation there. This is what you need to do for your assessment. So the other thing you also need to do is we need to do screen.draw rectangle. No, we want to fill rectangle. Normally I get little commands up here. I'm not sure why I'm not getting commands up here. You'll get errors, so you can see how here how I got an error. It'll actually tell you what your error is. And we want to do this as screen.width, screen.height, and we want to do color 255, 255, 255. Hopefully this is going to work. what I did there was just stop the coding and restart the project. Okay, and my screen fill is not happening. All right, so clearly I've got a bug there, so now I have to work that bug out. Okay, so the question is now, what bug have I created? Now I've actually got instructions down here that are telling me what my problem is. So I've done screen width, screen height, and I've done the color, but I haven't given it the XY coordinates of where to draw. So if I go back into here and do a 0, 0, then do a comma, and then hopefully if I do run, beautiful, I've got a white screen. Now the reason why I know it's a white screen is because I've put that number in there. Now, it's because white is 255 repeated 3 times. If I do a hash F00, you can see I get a control panel up here. It also turns to red because this is actually the code for red. I can also hold down control and click on my color. No, I can hold down, I can click on the panel. So you can click on the color palette and then you can choose whichever color you want. And you can see here it's doing a red, green, blue, and then it's doing a range of numbers. So I might just go for something like that. But wait, now I've lost my sprite. Okay, so why have I lost my sprite? I've lost my sprite because this script here is in the wrong spot. Now I've got my sprite in the middle of the screen with the background. So that is your challenge for your first assignment. Your first assignment is that you have to create a sprite, you have to change the color, the background color, but you also need to import a sprite. I'm not going to show you how to do that, but you can read the instructions here. You can drop a PNG or a JPEG file here, and then I want you to make it useful in a game context. So as in, choose something that's going to be good for your game. So you've got to do a bit of thinking about your game. You've got to do a bit of thinking about what sort of sprites you're going to need and what sort of characters. And as you can see here, it is different coding and you've actually got to give strict instructions, and when you get it wrong, it doesn't work. Okay?